This is how I became an IT project manager with no IT related degree and no project experience. I mean, no coding skills, no big tech background, literally just a guy with a knack for Googling and figuring things out as I went. If that sounds like a far-fetched dream, buckle up, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how I got here. And trust me, it wasn't luck. It was blood, sweat, tears, and 182 job applications in a single month. So if you've been looking for the secret sauce to break into something big from the scratch without any degree or experience in that field, this is it. But before we get into the video, welcome to the channel where I talk about personal finance, career growth, and ways to turn your no chance into a why not. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and if you're not new to the channel and you're still not subscribed, don't worry, we can still be friends, but come on. Don't do that. Smash that button before it gets awkward between us. I promise, you would not regret it. Alright, let's dive in. So how did I end up here? Honestly, even I did not know at first. Back in school, while hunting for internships, I was throwing my resume at anything that remotely sounded like a career. Project management, business analyst, even data analyst, which, let's be real, was hilarious considering my data analysis skills peaked at some basic Excel formula. Here's the deal. My school had this requirement: secure a co-op or internship or no diploma for you. So I had to make it happen. After applying to 182 internships, yes, I counted. I had a tracker. I got 2 offers. Not exactly a buffet of choices, but hey, 2 is better than none, and I picked one. I'm right there. And that one decision set me on the path to becoming a project manager today. Was I lucky? No. Was it easy?
No, sir. No, sir, it wasn't.
It was persistence, lots of rejections, and just enough stubbornness to keep going. And now, here we are. So let's break it all down. Alright, let's hop in the time machine and head back to 2017. Picture this, I had just completed a 4-year engineering degree in mechanical engineering. Sounds impressive, right? Well, hold that thought. I graduated with not 1, not 2, but 4 backlogs. One of them even hung around for so long it basically became a roommate, forcing me to stretch my 4 years degree into a 4.5 years odyssey. So there I was with a new shiny degree that might have looked cool on paper, but wasn't exactly opening doors. Now if you're thinking, hey, at least you're an engineer and you have a degree, let me stop you right there. I'm from India, and trust me, it's a family tradition in India. Getting an engineering degree in India is as common as having a Wi-Fi. It's nothing to brag about. Unless you're from some top-notch institute like IITs, it's basically a participation trophy. So with my degree and my below mediocre academic performance, I was going nowhere except for getting embarrassed. I remember my brother got me an interview in Jaguar through a friend. Sounds like a huge opportunity, right? But boy, I wish I hadn't gotten that interview. The interviewer literally ripped my soul off, and I'm pretty sure I still have emotional scars. When I got home, my brother asked me how it went, and I told him, honestly, if I were the interviewer, there's no way I'd hire myself. Yep, that was the level I was operating at. Anyway, after that debacle, I thought maybe an MBA would fix my life, which is the next most common thing people do in India after getting an engineering degree. But then I realized I didn't want to burn through more of my dad's money. So I took a leap and started applying for any job I could find, and then in future we'll see how things go. So I started looking. I found a customer support role for Amazon UK. I applied, I got it. No fancy title, no frills, just me on a seasonal contract answering customer queries during Black Friday and Boxing Day madness. Of course, I was newbie and I didn't know what to look for in offer letters. They explained it to me that it was going to be a 1-year contract, and I was like, it's fine. I just want to start something and then I can be good enough employee to convert myself into a full-timer. But boy, wasn't I wrong. I started, and little did I know, they just hired a crowd like me for the seasonal traffic of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Boxing Day. 5 months later, I was laid off. I was told that I wasn't needed anymore, and it says in my contract that they can lay me off whenever they can. They let me go with an extra 1 month's salary and a reality check. But hey, I was young, a little disappointed, but it wasn't gonna kill me. With some time on my hands, I remembered my IT friends from college. They used to talk about programming languages, web services, and other geeky stuff that I did not understand, but it sounded interesting. So I researched entry-level tech roles. Everyone suggested to start with tech support or desktop support where I can assist users with technical troubleshooting. And I'll be honest, these roles do not need any experiences because all you have to do is learn the product you'll be working for and assist the customers over the phone. It requires more of a communication skills and the ability to troubleshoot with the help of Google rather than actual tech skills. So the cycle restarted, looking for jobs, going through interviews, and after a month of relentless job applications, I landed a role with Microsoft technical support. But it was tricky. I was selected, but there was a training program, and if you fail, you're out. Which did not happen with me. I didn't fail. I started with consumer support, troubleshooting issues like my printer isn't working or my Wi-Fi is down, my laptop won't boot up, and many more. And I learned all this in that training. I did not have any prior knowledge. So yeah, that job helped me learn a lot more about technical side of things. I knew a little bit of computers because we had one since I was probably 8. I mean, my brothers did, so I was aware of the basics, mostly because of the games, since I grew up fixing game crashing issues a lot. But then this new job helped me understand more about operating systems, recovery options, Office 365 problems, and many more. I stayed there for 3 years and I learned a lot more than I ever imagined. Gradually, I moved from supporting consumers to commercial businesses, learning about servers, cloud systems, IT administrations, not too deep, just the basics. This job was my crash course in IT. I never paid for my learnings. Instead, I was getting paid through my full-time job, and in my spare time, I used to learn things from YouTube. So win-win. And I'm still not an IT engineer, or never was as a student or as a professional. I just learned basic IT stuff so that I can communicate things. I still can't do any coding except for some SQL, which I don't consider a coding language. It's just basic English statements, although very useful, so don't sue me. If you're enjoying this video so far, please go ahead and hit the like button. This will help the video to reach out to more people because at the end, if this is helping you, there might be other people who might be looking for the same guidance. So come on guys, push it. Alright, fast forward to 2021 and I decided it was time for me to pursue higher studies. The dream, an MBA. The problem? Have you seen the price tag on those things? It's like they assume you are already rich before they teach you how to manage money. And to make things even more wallet draining, I wanted to study abroad in the US. No less. But for an Indian like me, an MBA in the US cost about same as buying an apartment. So what did I do? I turned to my favorite coping mechanism, research. And guess where my research led me? That's right. Now don't get me wrong, Canadian education isn't exactly cheap either, especially for international students. But compared to the US, it's like choosing between a luxury car and economy hatchback. Plus, they have more affordable programs like postgraduate diplomas and certificates. And that's how I ended up in a postgraduate certificate program in project management. Now let me clarify, it's certificate, not a degree. You don't walk out with fancy initials after your name, just a shiny piece of paper that says, congrats, you have survived. Honestly, it wasn't my first choice. I actually applied for IT-related programs thinking, why not aim higher? But my mechanical engineering background said, nah, it's not happening. And I got rejected by so many schools, I lost count. I wasn't thrilled about it, but hey, life had other plans. And you know what they say? Whatever happens, happens for a reason. After all my applications were rejected, I had no choice but to choose the only program that accepted me. And guess what? It turned out to be the best decision of my life. I had some savings tucked away, but it wasn't enough. And like I said earlier, I wasn't about to drain my dad's retirement fund, especially since he retired in 2013. Yeah, my dad's old. So I did the next best thing. I took out an education loan. Thanks to my decent money habits and shiny credit score, humble brag, the process was smoother than I expected. It was so quick and easy, I did not even have to leave my house. Everything was handled over the phone, and for the few documents that needed my John Hancock, they actually sent someone to my house. Talk about VIP treatment for borrowing money. Banks are so smart. They'd be like, oh, you wanna be in debt? We'll come to your doorstep. Anyways, so in September 2021, I packed my bags and moved to Canada. At first, the course and I were not on speaking terms. I did not even enjoy it, not even a little bit. Why? Well, I was in a new country and the city of Toronto was calling my name. I grabbed every chance to explore the city while my classes were online thanks to COVID. Let's just say my multitasking skills peaked during this time. I attended lectures with video games running in the background or through my phone while cruising on public transit somewhere in downtown Toronto. Productivity at its finest, right? To make things worse, the course itself was about as exciting as watching paint dry, at least for me. Traditional project management methodologies, processes, and knowledge areas sounds thrilling, doesn't it? I did not understand a thing, and honestly, I did not care. And I would not recommend anyone to skip this part of project management. It was probably the most important part of the course, which I had to focus on later in my life when I started working. Anyways, then the course curriculum moved towards agile methodology, which is mostly used in IT projects because, well, IT loves uncertainty and scope changes are practically their love language. Now, for some reason, this drew my attention to the course. I'm not surprised since me and uncertainties. To top it off, classes shifted back to in-person learning, which meant no more slacking off. Professors would ask questions randomly, and there's nothing like the fear of embarrassment to reignite your focus. So thanks to offline classes, my focus was shifted back in school, and suddenly I was all about Agile, Scrum, Kanban, like I had joined some project management fan club. But here's the real kicker. The course had a co-op program, meaning I had to do an internship in order to graduate, which is not uncommon in most schools, but it's an optional thing or less numbers of hours required during internships. But in my school, it was mandatory and the minimum hours required were 30 hours per week during the internship term, which was almost full-time hours. The stakes were high because if I landed the internship, I would dodge paying the final term fees. Talk about motivation. It was time to channel my inner go-getter and give my soul and my sleep schedule to find that golden opportunity. And it took me 182 job applications. Yes, 182. I basically turned job hunting into a full-time sport. Each application was a project in itself. I would spend hours tailoring my resume and cover letters to perfectly match every job description. It was like playing a never-ending game of will they notice me? But most of them did not even respond. Not even a thanks, but no thanks. I barely got like 6 interview calls out of 182. And the worst part, my friends were getting offers, but I wasn't. I was happy for them, but let's be real, it made it feel more disappointing for myself, especially since I was finally stepping up my game, putting in real effort on school projects and doing way better than I expected. I thought the universe would throw me a bone for all the hard work, but nope, it made me wait. But hey, if you don't struggle for the things you want, how would you ever appreciate their true worth? And then came that golden interview, the one that felt like it was meant to be. Picture this, it was an IT company and they started asking questions. Now, before I tell you what kind of questions, why don't you drop your guesses in the comments? And you may have guessed it right. They asked me about agile methodology, how Scrum projects work, what Scrum events are, and suddenly I was like, yeah, boy. I did not have any project management experience. Heck, I did not even have project experience. My background was in an operational environment, which is a totally different ballgame. In operations, you're not creating anything or you're not changing anything. You're just keeping the existing stuff running smoothly, which means you're just basically maintaining what's already created. But this is where the hours of blood, sweat, and caffeine I had poured into my assignments paid off. I didn't have real-life projects to talk about, but I turned those classroom assignments into my secret weapon. I told them about the scenarios we were given, how we planned for it, how we created work packages, and how we estimated the work efforts. I even sprinkled in some insights from real-life case studies we had worked on. Apparently, interviewers were impressed because guess what? I got the internship. The pay was amazing, and yes, there are paid internships, and no, they don't pay minimum wage. They pay really good. I don't want to brag, but yeah, I kind of do. The pay was higher than anyone else in my batch. So was the struggle worth it? Absolutely. Now, during my internship, my main gig was to assist a senior project manager with project activities. Picture this guy constantly juggling meetings with clients, higher-ups, and directors, while I became his right-hand person for the smaller but essential stuff. I started running the daily stand-up meetings, helping with sprint reviews, and tracking the product budget by creating the weekly cost reports. Now, the job wasn't exactly hectic because, let's face it, as an intern, you're still technically a student, and no one's about to hand you the company keys. But here's the thing, you don't just wait for them to pile on responsibilities. You ask for them. Show them what you're capable of, suggest what are the things you can help them with, bring something to the table like a sample of your work which might be helpful, and chances are that they will bite. And that last part was exactly what I did. I'd be teaching myself how to create Excel dashboard and reports at the time, so I thought, why not try it here? So I put together a dashboard using some fancy things and macros to make project cost tracking more efficient and showed it to my mentor who I was assisting. Guess what? He loved it. Not just a polite nod, he actually complimented me in front of the whole team. Now, I don't know if it's a strength or weakness, but I crave for a little appreciation. Even just a tiny pat on the back can skyrocket my morale. And trust me, that one shout out made me feel like I was ready to conquer the world, or at least the next spreadsheet. Here's the deal. Once you have earned their trust, something magical happens. They start relying on you, and suddenly you're not just an intern or newbie. You become indispensable. Why? Because if they let you go, they would have to bring in someone new, train them, and spend ages building that trust all over again. Plus, what if the replacement isn't as sharp as you in certain areas? This strategy worked like wonders for me. They ended up hiring me full-time as an IT project manager. Now, before you think I'm coding entire systems or writing complex algorithms, let me clarify. I do not know all the nitty-gritty technical details of IT projects. My strength isn't in the hardcore tech, it's in the knowing the software development cycle, understanding the project processes, and most importantly, communication. If something flies over my head, I have no shame in asking my team to explain it to me. And when it's one of those super technical terms like ROSA, what is even that? For those type of things, I have a secret weapon, AI. I will just ask it to explain the term in plain, non-technical language, maybe with a few examples thrown in, and here I am, back in the game. I would understand what ROSA is now. Lesson here, you do not need to know everything. You just need to know how to find out. Now here's some real talk. You don't need a degree to start this kind of journey. You could go for a diploma or certifications instead. Sure, you might earn a little less in the beginning with no experience, but honestly, that does not matter. The key at the start is just getting a foot in the door, a platform to begin. Once you've got some experience, stack on a few certifications and collect glowing recommendations, your resume will start to shine brighter than Vin Diesel's bald head. It's exactly like investing, what I talk about in my other videos. At first, you do not need a fortune. Just start small, be consistent, and let the time work its magic. This principle applies to any field, whether you are aiming to be a project manager, a software developer, or a data analyst. It's all about learning the right skills and proving that you have them. And how do you prove them? Certifications, projects, portfolios, those are your secret weapons. Keep building, tweaking, and upgrading your resume like it's your favorite game character. And as for me, my next aim is to earn a PMP certification. It's like the crown jewel for the project managers, but I need about a year more of leading projects to qualify, I think. In the meantime, I'm here sharing my experience and knowledge, whatever I have here on YouTube. If this roadmap worked for me, trust me, there's a high chance it's gonna work for you too. Maybe that's a perfect title for this video. If I can do it, you can do it too. Oh, and before you go, check out this video where I talk about high income skills that are worth learning and how to start building them. It's a game changer.